Hello, this is Chris and welcome to the aviation video on Flight Sim. Today we're going to be talking more about Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 and we're going to be flying the Cirrus today, GA aircraft. That's kind of new, isn't it? And once again, just like the last video, we're not going to do an intro today because, yeah, we're just doing this in one big recording. So I figured, let's just do this thing in one big recording. So yeah, we're going to talk about the new Flight Simulator, but first we have to get our lovely Cirrus ready to go. I really do like this aircraft. This is the Hold My Beer simulation. It's a good name. Cirrus Sr22 completely free aircraft for X-Plane 11. We're on the ground at Kilo Foxtrot Lima X-Ray Airport, which is Fallon Municipal Airport, which is just to the east of Reno, about 30 miles east of Reno. And we're going to Lake Tahoe, if you don't know where that is. It's a pretty big lake in the California it's in California, but there's also a bit of it in Nevada. They have some casinos and stuff, but it's a nice big resort airport, not airport, but area. They have skiing, they have lake activities, pretty big lake, and we're gonna fly over there. Some nice views over by that area, nice mountainous. It's gonna be about a 30-minute flight, and we're gonna be talking about stuff. We're cold and dark because there's not a whole lot to do to start this plane. This is a small plane, so for the Cirrus. First things first, get the battery, and we get the alternator on. I'm going to go down here, get rid of the beer, drink that all up. We can get the key in the ignition, make sure ignition is off. We're going to put the avionics on, just so we can get our checklists. And then we can run through the checklists. So, checklist, pre-flight. Not a thing. Weight and balance, yup. Emergency equipment, yup. Passengers, yup, yup, yup. Okay, now let's get this show on the road. I really do like flying GA planes. It's quite fun. Quite fun, especially this plane. This plane is awesome. It's very versatile. All right, brakes. We have the parking brake on. This is the startup procedure. Battery master is on. Strobe lights on. Mixture. I probably could do this from memory, but I think it's just pretty cool having a built-in checklist and just double check and make sure we're doing everything properly, even though I probably wouldn't do anything proper. Okay, thrust lever, full forward, fuel pump, boost, propeller area, there is nobody else around, but we can just scream clear. There's that tree in the airport, but that's interesting. Power level, power lever, can move that down to a 1/4 inch open, about right there. And then we will mixture rich, we'll start it up. So we're gonna hold the brakes down, because just in case the parking brake fails, it's a good idea to just do that when we're starting. And then we're just going to adjust the throttle as necessary. We want to go here for the engine start. Alright, looks like we didn't get it that time. Let's try adding a little bit more power. A little more power. And start. Nothing there either. Let's try turning the avionics off, if that's using power or something, I don't know. Oh, I know what we haven't done. We haven't primed. Prime. Okay. Oh, the fuel isn't on. That'd be it. Lol. Okay, we can turn that on. Bit of a goof there. Okay, bring the throttle back down. Alright, we have the engine on. Parking brake, put back on. I know that head shake is a bit excessive. Bring it down. We want 1,000 RPMs. Okay. Checklist. Ignition switch is good. Make sure we're going to leave it on rich because we have a pretty short taxi out to the runway. Power level is 1,000. Oil pressure. Alt dip, that's all on. Avionics are on. Engine parameters, external power, amp, and that's all good. Alright, before taxi, flaps are up. Radios, We're not on VATSIM or anything. We don't need that. Fuel selector. Go to end switch. Thanks. All right. Do a brake check, and we can do all that stuff, and then we'll worry about that when we get going. So, let's grab the weather at the airport of KFLX, and then we can program it on our route. And it's 300 at 3. So we're going to be using the runway that's that way. I'm not sure actually which runway that is. I should probably know what runway they are at these airports. Runway 21 will be our runway. No, that's actually, it's a straight 90-degree. We'll use runway 21. I think that's a slightly shorter tax. Actually. We are departing. We're going to the, here, I'll show you guys our route here quick. So here's our route. We're going pretty much straight west. So we use runway 21, which will depart us kind of in a that-ish direction. Cool. So there's our route. So we want to go into flight plan. Exit. Flight plan. We want to go to Hotel Zulu November is our first waypoint. Enter. We want to go direct. So that stuff gets out of there. We don't need any of that stuff. And then we want to go to O'Holly. Enter. Enter. We don't actually want that, do we? Here, I know what we'll do. We'll go KTVL, enter. We want direct. We could go there. Enter. Already managed to screw it all up. Oh, I see. Here. Let us... I know what we'll do. We'll go direct to O'Holly. I bet that'll do it. Enter direct. Okay, that's what we want. Activate. Nope. Okay, so we want O'Holly. Enter. Okay, no. Okay, I know what I'm doing. I hope I know what I'm doing. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Direct O'Holly. Okay, so after I don't know what I'm doing. Lol. Because we were going here first, aren't we? Mega lol. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. Direct. And then it's to O'Holly, and then to Ramree. So, Ramree. It's an interesting name. And then it's to the airport. KTVL, South Lake Tahoe. And good stuff. Okay. We're going to be cruising at 14.5, and we'll deal with all that stuff later. So, we have all our lights on. We can taxi out to runway 21. Now the actual question is, how do I get out of this ramp? Okay, I have to go that way. Let's give it a little bit of power. Okay, you know what? We'll take 03, because that's a much shorter taxi. Okay, we can zoom it in. We can see our route down to Lake Tahoe. A lot of trees and stuff all over the runway. That might need to be looked at. We have full ortho scenery, so that'll be nice. Be a nice scenic-ish departure, or flight. Okay, hello, that's not there in real life, I don't think. I'd hope not. Okay, and then we'll make the right-hand turn. Okay. We're all good now? Well, this thing's giving me a lot of power to get moving. Alright. We have the pump to boost. We'll leave that on because that's what we need for takeoff. See, look how far forward the thrust lever is. It's like half. Alright, and then we're going to want to do a run up. See the windsock there? Not much going on with the wind, so we'll just kind of point it towards the runway. No matter what, we're going to get a tailwind with the run up. Alright, we can set 1,000 RPMs. Okay, here's runway 3. And then since this is a small plane, we have to do a run up. So, stop here, parking brake on. Yeah, I know, it's because I put it on. Checklist, before takeoff. Doors are shut, caps. We want to remove that in case something goes horribly wrong. We need to go parachutes. Seatbelts, air conditioner, yep. Fuel selector, they're both the same. We can, we'll switch to the left tank. Because my person's on the left side. I don't know if that's modeled, but it'd be best to train from that one first. Fuel pump is on boost. Mixture full rich. Flaps to 50. Transponder out. Okay. Autopilot, we'll set that up later. We'll set all that up. And then we can throttle up to 1700 for our run up. Alternator, we can turn those off. Check the voltage. Okay. That looks good. Pitot heat, we do not need that. Nav lights, we can turn those on just for the fun of it. Landing light, that'll be later when we get to the runway. Magnetos, okay. So, left mag. Note the drop. Well, that was the right mag. No, that was the left mag. Right mag. Note the drop. It's all good. Good. Engine parameters. Power level back to 1,000. Flight controls. We can do a control check. Up. Down. Left. Up. Right. Up. And we can see the elevators in the back. They move. Okay, trim is set and autopilot, of course, is not on. Takeoff. Power level, that is all that. And flaps rotating at about 77 knots. And then flaps up at 90. Then we'll climb out at 90. We don't need to do the short field because this is not a short field. So we will go ahead and skip. And we will do a full power climb. So we don't want the checklist anymore. We want to exit and we want to increase that range a little bit. Can taxi out onto the runway. So, with the landing light on, we're all set to go. Final is obviously no one on there. We're not on Bassam today because no one flies to these small airports and just be a faff, especially if there's center online to have to deal with us and us have to deal with them. So, do that. We should probably check the altimeter, shouldn't we? That'd be something we should have checked. Who cares? We'll deal with it in the air. Okay. Ready to go? Heels to the floor, take off. Okay, keeping it on the runway. Full power. Airspeed's alive. 50. 60. 70. Rotate. Alright, let it fly. Climbing out at 90 knots. Flips up. We'll just climb VFR at the moment. We can set 14.5 for our cruise. And we can select nav mode. We can just follow that for our nav. Let's maintain about 100 knots on the climb out. Okay, turning inbound toward the Hotel Zulu November VOR. There's the airport behind us. Go ahead and engage flight level change and the autopilot. can climb out. Let's do 110 knots. And then we can climb on out. We can do our after takeoff checklist. Oxygen, we won't need that till we get above 10K. We'll turn it on there. We can power level or full forward. Mixture is good. We'll leave that when we get to our cruise. Flaps are up, and we wants us to climb at 120, so we will do that. Fuel pump boost is still on. Fuel flow is good, and engine parameters green. Okay, we don't want that one. That'll be our cruise. So we can exit, and I can give you guys more of my thoughts about Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. So what I thought we would talk about is just some miscellaneous stuff that I haven't covered in some other videos, because we're getting very, 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 very close to the release of Flight Sim 2020, and I just wanted to go over some stuff that I thought was useful, was just felt like talking about, because there's some stuff that I think is worth talking about for the Flight Simulator. So one of them is the fact that there's going to be a lot of third-party add-ons that we want. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of scenery, there's a lot of planes that are going to come out that we may want. Like the PMDG, the 747, the FS Labs. And I'm really interested in that. That's one of the most, that's a very important thing, in my opinion, is the add-ons, and more importantly the cost. Because PMDG, it's worth it, but it's absolutely outrageous, the cost. Like, just the flat cost, like $130, dude. It's completely worth it, in my opinion, for PMDG products. I'm not complaining, but like, if I have to re-buy all of them, I don't have the NG3 because I have the Zebo. I don't see why I'd have the NG3 or the NGU. I think whatever it's called. I have the Zebo. I have no use for it. So, yeah, if I have to, some people. What I mean by that is some people with the NGU will get a discount on the NG3s. I don't know what's called. Whatever the one is for Flight Sim 2020, will get a discount. I do not get said discount. I do have the FS Labs 220, so maybe I'll get a discount. And I'm really interested in see how easy it is to port over from P3D or X-Plane, some of these add-ons. Like, I'd love the Zebo. If the Zebo came for free, I wouldn't need the PMDG. Although, I'm really interested in seeing the PMDG flight model in FS 2020, considering the fact that it's very different than P3D, and how I want to see how the PMDG will fly. Because if they fly properly, like they could with the new flight model, I think the PMDG 737 could become the best add-on for Flight Sim in general. It'd be better than the Zebo, I think, if it manages to get a flight model boost because of the better flight model of the new simulator. And I'm really excited for that. Really interested to see what it is. Hopefully we don't get anything too crazy in terms of cost. Right, oxygen on. We're above 10K. Should probably turn the landing light off. Yeah. So that's something to note. That's something I'm really interested in. This is why I've told people, if you want the new if you want add-ons and you have a limited budget, I wouldn't go with the Premium Deluxe. I'm gonna buy the Premium Deluxe just because I'm hoping I can get some more money by the time that the add-ons come out. But I don't want to be forking all my money over to FS 2020 when it's the promise to be the cheap all-in-one simulator. I know I talked about that in the last video with the Hawaiian video. So yeah, that's something we need to think about. It's what the cost is going to be, and kind of thinking about what the effects of that are going to be. Another one is what's going to happen to the other simulators when FS 2020 comes out. Are they going to die? I know some people think they are. It's a curious question because I mean I've also heard some people like, what are you talking about? We're all still going to use our original sims, but like, um, there's going to be a decent number of people, in my opinion, that aren't going to go back to the other sims, especially people who fly GA. GA in X-Plane is miles better than GA in P3D and X-Plane, or not P3D and X-Plane, P3D and FSX. Um, so that's why I think, and GA will be miles better than X-Plane in FS 2020. So people who like just flying GA planes, like the A2A or like this plane or like Caronado planes, I think will have no reason to continue using their sims, their current sim. But people who like airliners, which is I think a majority of the people for who play Flight Simulator, like at least a lot, they will likely continue, like me, continue to use the current sims for some time until the add-ons get ported over. I'm also curious to see how the model matching for um, VATSIM works. If they'll be able to import the model matching, like for people who FS 2020 can see it like really well, I'd be insanely happy about that because yeah, I'd be insanely happy about that. Like period. Like that'd be nuts. So that'd be really nuts. So basically, um, yeah, I'm also curious to see how model matching for X-Plane, or not, for like X-Plane to Flight Sim, like if you're on Flight Sim 2020, what the model matching will look like for like someone who's on X-Plane and vice versa. So that's another thing I'm interested in. And look at where we are. We are at our cruising altitude. So I'm going to leave that up. We're going to accelerate to about 160-ish knots. These clouds are actually semi-close to us, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that. Alright, leveling off, and then we'll do the checklist now. Oxygen is set. Cruise power lever we will reduce to 30.5 inches or less. So we'll set that later, and then fuel pump, we can turn that off. Or the boost pump off. And then mixture will lean, and then, yeah. So we'll just enter through that, and then we'll worry about the other stuff when we are done. So we want to go into system, 30.5 inches. So we're looking at here. So that's about right there. And once we hit 160 knots, I will reduce our thrust. It's definitely having some trouble accelerating at these higher thrust level or higher speed levels. So there's we can start reducing now. We're in no rush. Alright, there's 30.5, and we can go lower than that if need be, but it looks like we're just gonna stay there. Speed's reducing a little bit, but you can also lean the whatever it's called a bit, mixture, and we can see the manifold pressure going up as we lean the mixture. So we're just gonna keep reducing that as we keep leaning the mixture. Keep leaning it until we start seeing big reductions in manifold pressure. Right there is about a good spot to lean to, so we can increase to 35. Alright, that seems about good. Alright, so we just keep an eye on our progress. We have, I believe, we have a 20 knot headwind, so that's not helping us. Making a left-hand turn to Romrey, it looks like. Cruising about 150 knots, probably about 100 something. I don't know if they're, yeah, ground speed 170, so that's decently fast. You can see where we're headed. It's just up there is where our destination is. Just about 70-ish miles, 75 maybe miles. Destination 50 nautical miles. In 17 minutes is what it estimates us to be there, and then 236 is the course setting. Okay. Cool. that's the plan. So we're gonna do a little bit more talking. So another thing that I'm interested beside VASM, which is gonna be just the GA is gonna be ridiculous. I really can't wait to fly general aviation in FS 2020. It is gonna be absolutely insane. Like it's gonna be absolutely insane. Um, I can't wait. If I we do some fly-alongs with fly-arounds with people, some content creator, YouTube, Twitch people do stuff. That'd be so fun if you get like 100 people into a or like 50 people into a small airport on like a Unicom frequency and trying to manage that. That'd be just absolutely insane. Flying around, places like this, like the American West, where there's all these mountains and different terrains and it's like desert, and then it's all snowy over there. It could be real good fun. Or places like in the UK with they have some pretty good scenery, or some old like Scotland. That's really cool, like northern Scotland. That'd be awesome. Or maybe like some of the islands, the Canary Islands, flying around there could be pretty cool. Flying around like Australia and areas like that, or like Africa. There's some nice areas in Africa. Um, I should probably, yeah. There's a lot of real nice areas in the world that I can't wait to fly to. Um, altimeters 1024. I should probably have set that. That's the Tahoe altimeter. Um, wow. I do say so yeah a lot. I don't know if you guys saw that comment that guy posted. I do say so and yeah a lot. It's just because I start sentences and I like go to do a thing that requires cognitive ability, and I just completely blank out on the sentence that I'm trying to say. That's why you don't fly and talk at the same time, because you say and yeah a lot. Sorry if that annoys people, or if that's just that guy who got annoyed. So that's another thing I'm excited for, is flying around the GA areas. It's gonna be insane. I'm pretty excited, guys. I hope you guys are as well. If I get a decent viewership base by then, maybe we could do a group flight. If I have like any subscribers who like are interested, let me know. Just comment or something, or just anyone who watches. I'd love to organize like a little group flight or something. That'd be good fun. So maybe I say so a lot. That'd be good fun. If anyone wants to do that, let me know. I'd be all for it. If anyone knows anyone, let me know. Then we could have some good fun. Fly around everywhere. We can plan maybe like a tour around America or around Europe. There are some places in Europe though I find pretty boring. Like Germany is pretty flat in my opinion. Like there's not much going on there. I mean, no, the cities are great. Like flying around the city and stuff. But Germany. I'm not from Europe, so if I've completely screwed that sideways, and Germany's actually like the world's craziest, most interesting place to fly, let me know. But yeah, I mean places like Norway and like Scandinavia, that'd be awesome. Or like I said, Scotland, Ireland. Ireland is really cool. I like Ireland. Shout out to any Irish people. You guys have good accents. I do like their accents in Ireland. South America is pretty good. Flying around Rio de Janeiro, we could fly some of the big planes into that small runway by Rio. That's pretty nice. Other things that I'm excited for everything. Maybe not the airliners, the default airliners. They look a little weird and are a little weird and climb at like 8,000 feet a minute. A little weird, but what can you do? What can you do? Am I a Nazi? Are you guys Nazis? It's late, guys. I like to record at late because I'm more loose. I just say random stuff when it's late. I don't know why. I'm just kind of nuts. Winds at Lake Tahoe 1805, so we can land running 18. We'll just do it visually. We don't need to do any kind of fancy dancy stuff. We'll enter a left base for 18, like so. That's this runway, by the way. We'll fly over the lake. Actually, we might not fly over the lake. We might kind of deviate a little bit that way and then go that way over the lake. Let's get some outside views. That look pretty nice. Sorry, I'm just Googling something here. That's a pretty nice view, isn't it? Alright, let's have a look here. Sorry that the sounds aren't great, but the exterior sounds. But still, this plane looks... I wish they had not this version, like the pitch black cockpit. If anything, to improve, I would improve the fact that there's a completely pitch black cockpit. Like, yeah, I don't think that's realistic. If it is, anyone who flies a Cirrus... You know what, I might rant about the Cirrus here for a second. I don't like the Cirrus Sr22. I think it's a ripoff, in my opinion. Like, it's a fancy plane. Look, we're going 150 knots. We're at 14,500 feet. Like, that's pretty nice, but... Fixed gear. Why is it fixed gear? Okay, quiz time, guys. What's the single greatest drag inducer on any plane beside the fuselage? It's the gear. That's why we have retractable gear, and they charge like $700,000 if you want to like spec one up. You could probably get one. If you probably, I bet you could pay $1 million if you spec the Cirrus up like all the way. You know what kind of house you could get for $1 million? It'd be nuts. Why on earth? Look at this nice little town. Would you spend all that money specking up a Cirrus to that level when you could buy $1 million house? Like, you could get a Cherokee for 30,000 bucks if it's a trash one, or a Cessna 172 for like 30,000, 50,000. Like, dude, sounds like a deal to me. You're not going to be going 150 knots in a Cessna. You'll be going maybe 120 at best, but that's only 30 knot difference, and you're not going up to 14,000 feet, but you're not getting the efficiency and stuff, kind of. But you're probably not going to be getting 170 knots ground speed in a Cessna or a Cherokee. You're still gonna have a good time, like, you know what I mean? You're still gonna, if you want to use it, you get a Bonanza. If you're gonna spend that money, there is no reason to get a Bonanza. Like, get a Bonanza. A Bonanza has retractable gear, can go a little bit faster, can go, I think, a little bit higher, has a better engine. It just might not have the fancy dancy, chair seat warmers or, avionics. That's my rant about people who buy SR. It's an amazing plane to fly. I love flying it, hence the reason I'm flying it right now. It's an amazing. That's part of the reason I'm getting the Premium Deluxe for Flight Sim 2020. Is that there is a SR22 included with it, and I really do. I love flying the SR22. It's a fantastic aircraft. Really easy, really intuitive. They have built-in checklists, and we can fly around areas like this and look at the mountains, and it's an efficient, it's an easy, very versatile plane. It can, it can come into short-ish runways. It has an okay takeoff distance. It could be better, actually. That's one thing. But, it can also do really complicated instrument flying, shoot approaches, shoot all that kind of stuff. Like I said, it can come into short, this runway is 8,500 feet at Tahoe. You can see the lake just right there. Look at that. And see the lake. The city of Lake Tahoe is about right in that, like right over the mountain there, and this is like the Reno-ish area. That's how the sounds kind of change depending where I'm looking. The elevation of Lake Tahoe is really high up, so we're not going to start descending until later. We're still got 20 miles to go. That's, if you are 20 miles to go at an airport that's like at sea level and you're at 14,000 feet, that might be a different start. But this is like, elevation is I think 6,000, so we were really only 8,500 feet above the ground. That mountain is a little bit high, so I might we'll wait till we take this turn at Romrey, and that's coming up in 3 miles, and it's going to be a we're at a 210 heading right now, and then we'll be turning to probably like a 230, 240 heading when we get to Bromry, and then we can start looking at our arrival already into Lake Tahoe. It says we got 6 minutes to go. That's probably given our current speed. It'll probably be more like 10 minutes. How long have we been recording for? It has been 35 minutes, so this might be 45-minute video, 50-minute video. This is actually winding up to be a little bit of a longer video. I'll try and cut the bass in pretty tight for you guys so you don't have to listen to me talk forever. I don't know how fun that is. This is kind of like a pre-recorded live stream, really. I'd love to do live streaming. Like I said, for Flight Sim, if we do some streams, we can fly around. That'd be pretty nice. Fly around the area. This is exactly like a car, which is kind of weird. Alright, Romrey 227 is the course. Now we're heading direct to Lake Tahoe. We should be flying over an airport right about now. Yep. Here's our plane. Hello, Mr. Plane. What does the exterior look like? Okay, I'm not gonna... But look at the ortho. The ortho looks fantastic. Can I see the airport? No, it's kind of above that mountain. Let's have a look at what we're going to be looking at for our checklist. Enter altimeter. We have that set to cabin heat. Landing light is going to be on when we start our descent. We'll turn that on passing 10K because we don't need to turn it on through 14,000 feet. Fuel system, yeah. That mixture, we will go full rich when we start our descent. And then this is a before landing, which we will worry about before landing. So, let's start. We're 14 miles now out. We can start a descent. Let's just descend to 7,000 feet, and I'll take it manual the last 1,000. So we're gonna go flight level change. We'll set at a nice 140 knots. So we're gonna rich the mixture. I don't know if you do this early, but I am going to. Let's bring the power out. This plane can really descend if you ask it to. See what I mean? So we're gonna leave a little bit of power in. We are going to, let's take a heading of 250 just to get around those mountains. See, we're just sitting at 3,000 feet a minute. So, sorry guys. Heading. That mountain's pretty tall. Alright, look at that. Look at the lake. Very good looking lake. Okay, still 2,000 feet a minute. I have to be careful if that, hurts people's ears, but again, it's, just me on the plane. Nice view. Okay. We're descending now. We can we'll switch tanks now for the landing. Turn the oxygen off. I know, it'll say oxygen required. Turn pitot heat off. We're descending pretty quickly. We are looking like we're getting pretty close. You'll see the airport kind of appear out of, I think that might be it right there. Is it? I can't tell. Well, it's hiding behind there somewhere. You can see kind of the city right here. Should see some bigger buildings. This is where the hotels are at. I don't know if they'll be modeled. It looks like they're just flat buildings, but there are hotels right there. This is a ski resort actually right here. This is this is I think the mountain where they have like some ski resorts going on up there. It's pretty cool. And there's the airport. So we can kind of start making a attempt to slow down. So we can set we can VS it actually at 1,400 a minute. And we can spin the heading around a bit. Go to about 230. And we can enter the left base for 1-8. Landing light on. Keep the power in. We're sun down to 7,000 feet, which is the pattern altitude for Lake Tahoe. Once we establish 7,000 feet, we can get the checklist worked out and see what we need to do for it. We'll keep the speed up. We are still a bit of a ways out. We can kind of turn it inbound now. We'll go heading 200. I don't know if that's too much of a turn. Yeah, that is. Go 210. Alright, it looks like we're kind of entering bridge 45 straight out the runway. Okay, let's just have a look here, see what the checklist says. Seatbelt, shoulder harnesses. They are figuratively secured. A fuel pump to boost. Mixture, flaps, autopilot. Normal landing, so we can worry about that. We have visual at the airport now. We'll just level out at 7,000 feet. Turn to 220. And we'll start thinking about disengaging the autopilot in the next few minutes. Okay, we're 1,000 feet above the ground. Gonna reduce the power just a little bit. Can maintain about 100 knots. Alright, 100 knots. And then we'll get disconnected and stuff as soon as it's ready to time to descend. Nice views. See the lake. Very nice lake. Very big lake. Very, very big lake. I really do like this ortho. Ortho is very nice. Okay, let's take manual now. My aircraft. Like I said, 8,500. We're not going to have 8,500 feet to land. There's a bit of a displaced threshold, but yeah. So flaps are going to go to 100%. Airspeed is 80 to 85, and we'll do all that stuff. So we can start reducing now. We'll take the first notch of flap. We can start slowing down to our landing speed. A little bit of trees on final, so we're going to keep that in mind. That's what the displaced threshold is for. A little bit high, so we can pitch the nose down. Small planes, they were pitching for airspeed, power for altitude. Which is fake news, kind of. I could do a whole video on my opinions on that phrase alone. 500 feet. When we have the runway made, we will select flaps to 100%. Alright, say we have the runway made. I could always just kill the engine and see if I do. I think we're good now. You know what? Actually, I'll leave it in for a second. We'll go 85 knots for now. 2 reds, 2 whites. Flaps full, and all that stuff is good. We can get rid of the checklists. Alright, flaps full. They are full. Yep. And then we can land the aircraft. They're going to come in at about 80 knots, maybe a little bit less because we're kind of light. And then we're going to want to exit there and go to the FBO. Good plan? Good plan. Let's do this. 2 reds, 2 whites. Alright, we're going to start bringing the power back. Look into the end of the runway. And give it a little bit of a flare. Little bit of a flare. Float. Nice. Minus 21. Keep that nose up. Gently lower it down. Keep the back pressure in. Alright, everyone. Welcome to Lake Tahoe. Well, not actually welcome to the lake, but we're at the airport. You can just let it roll out. We don't need any brakes. Flaps up. Oh boy. This is why you watch where you're going. Alright, that was a good landing. Earlier I was doing some flying this aircraft and I landed at -6 was the landing rate. Yeah. Pretty nuts. Alright. So, short field, we don't need to do any of that. Skip. Skip. After landing. 1,000 RPMs. Fuel pump. Mixture, we're just about to park. We can leave it on rich. Flaps are up. Lights. Turn off the landing light. Turn off the nav light. And then pitot heat is off. Transponder we will turn off, and then that'll be the shutdown. Alright. Pull in right here. We don't own this airplane, so, or it's not based at this airport. I don't know, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but we're just going to assume that it isn't, so we'll just pull it in somewhere in this ramp area. Where looks good. We can pull in right, let's see here. Let's go right by this fuel truck area, or by these ground service equipment. Can pull it in right here, so if they need to maintain us or anything. Alright, shutdown. So, parking brake. Fuel pump is off. Throttle, idle. Cycle the ignition. Mixture to cut off. Alright, engine is off. All switches off. Okay. Okay. We will leave actually everything on, in fact. ELTs, chocks, and all that stuff is done. Okay, we're done. We've made it. Okay, so lights off. Avionics. All lights off. And then it said something to do with the LT, but we're not going to deal with that any right now. All right, guys. Welcome to Lake Tahoe. I'm going to actually get rid of that stuff because it's going to mess with my replay. Let's have a look at that beautiful landing. You don't have to look too much at it. I know this is a longer video than normal. Look at the tower view. Some trees in the way, but that's fine. Alright, there we go. Over the runway. And then you see just kind of holding it off. Let the plane bleed off its speed, and then it just settles down when it's ready. Look at that. Beautiful. That was a nice landing. According to that, 0 FPM. This plane is extremely easy to land, in my opinion. It's awesome. It's like a guaranteed greaser or butterer every time. Look at that, right there, right on the money. Alright guys, that's going to do it for tonight. So I'd like to thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Please rate or comment to this video. Once again, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. And bye.